All right, now let's get into the pro gun spread system. Let's get into the screen game, okay? We do have quite a bit of screens. I believe you have to throw screens as an offense, and I think you got to spend time getting good at them, and that's what we're going to talk about. All right, screen game. All right, we love to use our screens and make defenses account for the entire field. Really, what we've done with everything that we do, that's what we always talk about, is making teams defend the entire field. We use them to slow D lines down. All right, we also use them to make them run, right? Make them run and cover, getting them upfield and having to retrace and run. You know, it gives them a different look, and they can't just pin their ears back and come every time, and it throws them off. Take advantage of aggressive defenses that like to blitz a lot, defenses that are real aggressive about getting upfield. So that, you know, we like to throw our screens. Well, the screens that we run in this are our tag screens and our jailbreaks. Those are the two big ones. Now, we do throw a back screen, and I'm going to be adding that to the system as well as we work through this down the line. But for this segment of getting out the initial system, we're only going to cover two types of screens in the system, and that's our tag screens and our jailbreaks. First, we're going to talk about the tag screens. Well, let's talk about, before we get into that, let's talk about screen game in general, as far as, you know, practicing it and getting better at it. All right, you got to commit to being good at screens. All right, it's not something that you can just kind of halfway, okay, we have to do screens because we're a spread offense. You got to commit to being good at them. And how you do that is reps in practice. You got to find time to make sure you're getting plenty of reps in practice at your screens. You got to do it in situational periods. You got to do it in group periods. You got to do it in individual periods. All that's important. For us, Tuesdays is a big screen day. All right, so on Tuesday, we'll work all of our screens. All right, on our team takeoff period, to begin to practice, we'll run all our screens on air. All right, and then sprint outs too. We'll do screens and sprint outs the same day as on Tuesdays. And then tag screens, we rep them every day because that's a big part of our RPO game. So, you know, Tuesdays we'll mix in our screens during our team pass period. Will be a lot of screens in our team periods. So we want to make sure we run anywhere from 3 to 4 screens in a 12-play script in each session. So especially on Tuesdays. And same with everything. You got to teach it. You got to drill it and rep it. All right, we have certain drills like on Tuesdays. I've got an individual drill that I do in pre-practice for screens with our quarterbacks. All right, to kind of drill and rep and develop that skill set of throwing a screen. And call it in the game. You know, anytime I thought that we weren't very successful at screens, it's because we didn't call them a lot in games. And I think you got to be smart in when you call those screens. All right, if you can't always just call a screen every 3rd and long. All right, defensive coordinators are going to sit on that. They're going to tell their defensive linemen that. All right, they're not going to run upfield. You know, so mix it up. Call a screen on 1st down. Call a screen on 2nd and short. Call a screen, you know, on 3rd and long if you haven't been calling screens on 3rd and long. And I think that goes into a lot of your self-scouting. When you're self-scouting, you know, let's say one week you threw 4 screens. Well, what situation did you throw those screens in? All right, is there a pattern there? Typically there is. All right, and then once you develop or figure out what that pattern is that you're calling that screen in, try to call it at a different pattern the next game. Okay, so that's important too. Do a lot of self-scouting and make sure you're calling these things at the right time and not always on 3rd and long or 2nd and long. All right, so our tag screen. All right, tag screen's first thing are one of our first screens. And I talked a good bit about this in our RPO session. All right, this is our number 1 RPO. All right, we are flat, fast, blocking, well, you know, the most dangerous man. Under control, it may be the corner. All right, maybe the Sam. all right, the corner bails and the Sam tries to drive on the tag screen, all right, we can whip our head around and we can pick him up, and then we got one-on-one with the corner, okay? If it's some type of man coverage and he's in the box, you know, he's flat fast, then he can decipher which one he's got to pick up. Because one of them is going to bail. If he knifes up, if he's flat, and the reason why we say flat fast is because if this corner knifes up, we're going to be flat and we're going to kick, okay? We also got some answers built in for when they are overly aggressive, which I'll show you, all right? So this is kind of in our screen arsenal here. Double tag screen, all right? This is a great RPO. This is a great little screen, all right? And both of them, this is 2x2. He's flat, fast, blocking most dangerous, all right? He's flat, fast, blocking, you know, the corner or the safety that's firing down, whichever one triggers, all right? And they're 1, 2, 3 retrace back. All right, and we're trying to throw to that upfield shoulder. If you want to see all the fundamentals and stuff we talked about with the quarterbacks, go back to the RPO session, and we got some drill work and stuff in that. I've also got, you know, they may change the name of it. If you look into the old vault, I've got an old webinar on the RPO skill set that really breaks down the quarterback footwork. You can get on the Glazer website and pull that up too. Just search my name, and there's a few clinics that I've done a couple years ago on that. So, you know, we're getting this ball out, upfield shoulder, and we want to get inside this block, back out. Okay, inside this block and back out. All right, slip tags. All right, slip tags. This is when this corner is really biting hard up, all right, and the safety's biting, and everybody's really rallying on the tag screen, and they're overplaying it. Now he's flat fast, like he's going to block, and then he's right up the bottom of the numbers, all right? And this is when you got to call this at the right time, and if you catch them at the right time, it's a touchdown. So that's kind of an answer to hold people accountable, not to knife in on the tag screens. All right, let's see some of these cut-ups. Here's a good look at our perimeter tag screen here. And our quarterback does a nice job of getting the ball out fast, accurate, all right? Look at our receiver. He's under control. He's flat. He's got his head on the correct side, all right? And he's under control, using his hands and moving his feet and taking that blocker where he wants to go, getting himself between the defender and our ball carrier. He's working him to the sideline. We're inside that block, all right? He's inside that block, and then he gets back out to the edge to get away from the defender. Quarterback does a nice job here of recognizing the edge pressure and getting the ball out quick. Remember, work your cadence. Here's a nice job. He's flat. Corner kind of bails. The Sam triggers. And our receiver does a nice job of turning back on the Sam. Now, we've got the Sam blocked off. Look at all this grass we got. Now it's just one-on-one. All right, we like that matchup. It's a 9-yard gain. Great play. All right, again, I like to show some teachable clips here. All right, our receiver's a little unsure here. All right, he's coming out to block the tag. The corner bails, and he looks at who he should get. He should pick this guy up, but for whatever reason, he doesn't. He keeps working up to here. He was right, but he was thinking too much. He should have, and he looks at him. He should have picked up the Sam backer triggering in. It doesn't. Luckily, our guy makes a nice move and gets away from him. But you tell your guys, if you see that corner bailing, All right? You go ahead and get your eyes inside for that Sam Backer rally into the tag screen. Here's a good look of going flat, fast, great effort, moving your feet, blocking great. And we take great pride in our tag screen blocks. Really encourage your receivers to be physical, to love to get out there and block. And that's why typically when we play a Y receiver, we got a Y right here. All right, we like the attributes I'm looking for a wide receiver is typically an on-the-ball type guy. A tall guy, maybe a bigger guy, a guy that blocks well, because he's going to have to block tag screens, he's going to have to run the cross, he's going to be running meshes, you know. So you know, we want a tall, physical guy playing that Y position. Watch him here. He does a tremendous job being under control. You know, both of them are bailing, the corner and the safety. So he doesn't panic. He just slows down. He's under control so he can block the first one that comes to it. And he's just leading our receiver up the field. He's blocking to the whistle. Great play by him. Love our tag screens. Here's a nice job of tag screens, of determining who to block. He's flat, he's fast, he's got his eyes on the corner. The corner is wanting the bail. Sam's wanting the trigger. Well, let's pick him up, and then we're one-on-one with that cornerback. Same thing here, flat, fast, under control, block the corner, get inside that block and back out to the sideline. All right, now we tell them too, look how deep this guy's playing. All right, we hit this team over the top a lot. Look how deep they're playing. All right, so he's still going to be flat, fast, but he's going to turn and pick off the Sam, and look at all that space we got to run our tag screen. It's a big gain. So that was after I was talking about calling these things at the right time. That was after a holding call we got. So it's first and forever, and they're playing way off because they're thinking we're going to go deep, and we just throw a little tag screen out there, and then we're back into a 2nd and 8, back into a manageable down and distance situation, just by throwing a tag screen out there. Here's a look at throwing the tag screen to number 2. This clip was in our RPO session. You know, you can get into some of that. It's really easy to do. Throwing the tag out to number 2. I like that a little better than bubble, guys. It's a good clip of our Y being really patient, determining who was the guy that he needs to block first. And it ended up being the Sam, and he ends up getting engaged with the corner as well. He ends up blocking 2 with 1. We get a big gain. This is our big Massillon-McKinley rivalry. And they take pride in that blocking. All right, here's a double tag look. So we're running tag screen on both sides. And this is an RPO. We got a run scheme going on up front. All right? But sometimes we'll call a protection, just throw the tag screen out there. Not very good by our H receiver. He makes the right decision. All right? He's flat and fast like he should be. Corner bails, good. Now go attack. You know, be a little more physical. And he was young at this time. We were playing a young player then. He's actually, he's a really good player now. He's got a bunch of offers, committed to West Virginia. Real good player. But we want to be more physical than that. Got to be more physical than that. Got to get your head across. Look, he doesn't have leverage. All right, he should be getting his head on this shoulder and working this guy. And then we're one-on-one with this cornerback. So the end zone shot, just throwing it out. Same thing here. Flat, fast. Take the corner. Look how under control. I mean, he almost looks slow off the ball here. but he's just under control. He's flat. He's under control. He's got his feet under him. He shoots his hands. He gets his head placement correct, and he's just staying on his block. A 10-yard gain right there on a screen. Same thing here. He's under control. He's setting up. He's loading his hips. Look at him. He's not engaging. You know why? Because the corner hadn't he hadn't decided what he's going to do yet. So instead of lunging at the defender, all right, Trey's doing a good job of loading his hips, staying down, and being prepared to shoot his hands when the DB commits to what he wants to do. I'd like to see Trey a little more aggressive right there, but he was trying to be under control. He didn't want to overextend. Because the worst thing you want to do as a receiver is go out there and lunge at the corner and whiff, and then we have a big problem. Okay, now, check this out. All right, so this team right here, we're playing state semifinals. All right, we got to win this ball game to go to the state championship. All right, so big part of the game. We come out. This is where we get the ball right before halftime. We have been throwing these tag screens left and right the whole first half. So we call this play right after halftime. All right, watch these guys. They are screaming to the tag screen, and we noticed it while we were talking as a staff. And we're like, let's throw our slip tag right after halftime. So this is a good little answer off your tag screens. It's a good way to get people to really be accountable and not look at them fly. I mean, they're flying. Two of them are flying to the tag screen, and they don't even notice that he's gone down the sideline. Big play in a big game. Try to call these things at the right time to score points. That really, really opened up the game. All right, and good coaching point. All right, when we run this and we run any of our double move stuff, like we'll run some slow goes, we'll run some out and ups, things like that. All right, notice how the quarterback, when we watch this thing from the end zone, all right, you don't see a pump fake, do you? Okay, and this is why. I don't believe in doing the pump fake thing, all right, because when a quarterback catches the ball, all right, and he pump fakes, okay, now not only does he have to get his hips aligned to where he's throwing the ball, he's got to load his hands back up, all right, to throw the ball. I've always had baseball guys play quarterback, and I really relate to throwing a football just like you would hit a baseball as far as loading your hands, all right, and staying ready to hit. You're staying in there, going to hit that curveball, all right, and you got to stay ready. You got to load your hands and all that kind of stuff. I think the same thing applies when we're throwing the football. So I don't want a big pump fake. That's not what's going to get the defense to bite. What's going to get the defense to bite is the action by the play and the quarterback's eyes. So I tell our quarterback he can catch the ball, give it a good look, all right, maybe a little front shoulder, maybe a little front shoulder dip. But if I do a front shoulder dip, look where my hands in the football is. All right, still loaded. I'm still ready to throw. If I come here or pump fake or do something like that, now when I flip my hips to throw it down the field, now I've got to get my hands back and set. Why not just catch, look at it, maybe a little shoulder, flip your hips, and now I'm in a really good position to throw the football down the field. So watch our quarterback right here. He gives it a good look, no pump fake. He's ready to throw the football down the field. This is a while back ago. If we call it, and for some reason the safety sniffs it out right here, that's why I put this clip on here. Safety kind of sniffs this one out. You can back shoulder that thing, and we practice that. We practice that little back shoulder throw for that. For the slip tag. Here's another look at it. Really aggressive defense, taking advantage of aggressive defense. We noticed on film how aggressive they were. This is the first play of the game. This is an undefeated team. They're really confident in playing us and excited about playing us. So we wanted to, go for the throat the first play of the game, and worked out for us. Let's see it one more time. Watch how aggressive they are. And we slip our receiver right down the sideline. He almost stepped out of bounds. So those are our tag screens.